Obviously, through my research, I've come across this channel. Yes, I have used a little bit of their video, but hopefully you can see that I have made it myself and put this whole video together. It took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 videos. This one is 11, and then the final product will be number 12, just so that if YouTube are looking, they can see this.
On June 30th, 1908, a mysterious explosion shook the remote Siberian region of Tunguska. The blast flattened 80 million trees across 800 square miles. Every plant, every animal, every insect in the blast radius was vaporized. The shockwave was felt as far away as England. It looked like a comet impact, yet no crater was found and no debris was discovered. Scientists still can't explain what happened. But at that exact moment on the other side of the world, Nikola Tesla was conducting his latest experiment.
Alan sent me another link today. I just think that he's always watching and looking and finding, and it comes to him, as he says in the video as I have of him on this, that it just comes on and then he's got it and whatever. But he showed me this video, this link to this video here, which is I will show you this video here. But obviously a little experiment for yourself that you try to do it yourself. Just put in Tesla bomb 1909. I didn't find anything, so the only reference to this happening is this video. So I really hope the person doesn't mind that I've taken a few minutes of his video. The whole video is 27 minutes long, and he talks about how it's, you know, how, well, cold fusion weapons and everything. But yeah, let's continue with the video.
Transmitting massive amounts of electricity through the atmosphere. Tesla activated the generators in his lab and fired up Wardenclyffe Tower for one final dramatic test, and sent millions of volts of electricity into the sky. After the test was complete, Tesla looked at the readings on his equipment and said, "Uh-oh." Inventor and visionary Nikola Tesla was known for his groundbreaking ideas that shaped the world of science and technology. However, there was one invention that remained shrouded in mystery and controversy. He called it the Tesla gun, but it became known by a more ominous name, the Tesla death ray.
It's really strange when it was actually developed and working in 1909, that here it says the 1920s to the 1930s, and do excuse the background noise, that is Cam eating. He always bangs the food tray. Bang, 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 bang. He's really noisy when he eats. I don't know why he bangs it all the time. It must be it must be comforting of some kind, but he just bangs the tray around. Anyway, he stopped now. Yeah, it says the 1920s there.
The science behind the death ray was based on Tesla's experiments with high-frequency electricity. Tesla believed that energy could be transmitted wirelessly over great distances. The weapon was designed as a large Tesla coil, which consisted of a series of capacitors that could store vast amounts of electrical energy. The energy was then released in a concentrated beam, which could be directed toward a target. Tesla's reasons for inventing the death ray were rooted in his strong belief in world peace. He hoped that the weapon would act as a deterrent to war.
A lot of people are probably in awe of Tesla and what he was able to do. But there are others that don't say he was real. It's just part of his story. He's just a character in the history, but he wasn't really real. There's not many pictures of him, and when you think that he died a very poor man after having all these things painted in the first place, you'd have thought he was a very rich man. And then there are these stories that once he harnessed what it was that he'd got, he kind of had to destroy it, because he realised instead of bringing peace, which is what this guy's saying, it was, you know, he needed to know no one can have this because it's so destructive. And then obviously we know that they've got the patent for it, or they've got whatever it is. But I just don't know. It's just all crazy, the whole thing, because we find out that history is a lie anyway. But It's just very interesting that this all happened in Siberia. So he overshot everything.
Obviously, political and military leaders were worried about Tesla's invention. Wherever they could, they tried to interfere. They prevented him from getting patents. They made it difficult for him to receive funding. It became a priority to do anything and everything possible to prevent Tesla from creating this weapon. But it didn't matter what they did. Tesla already built it.
As I've said earlier on, it is extremely difficult to find anybody else really talking about this information. Alan gave me this video to watch, and obviously that is that person there. Obviously it's all linked in with the death ray, but he says in there that everybody was making it difficult for him to get patents on this thing. But I went to the internet and just look at all this. Obviously there it explains it, and it says it's 1920s, whereas this I think is 1908, 1909. So I started going through these, and then I opened a few of them up. What I found is that, so the 1900s, it's X-ray imaging that he has patented. What did Tesla do in what year is that one? I thought I had these all open. 1900s. Let's look at 1901. Wireless telegraph part. 1901. What did he do in 1891? That's when the Tesla coil was invented. What did Tesla do in 1899? There you go. What do you do in 1890? High frequency currents. Obviously these aren't in year order. What did Tesla do in 1895? 80 years, right? There you go. Across water, he designed the first hydroelectric power plant in the Niagara Falls in 1895. What did he do in 1896? Well, that's the same one. What did he do in 1898? I don't know if we've gone through these ones. There you go, that's another one. Let's have a look, this one. Yeah, there you go, patents. So these would have all been patented. 1892. Okay. 1888. I think we've done that one. I think we've done these ones. Did Tesla start an earthquake? 1899. So they weren't stopping him with all these patents for all these things. So it's a bit hard to understand why when he's done all this. I suppose maybe it was a weapon-like thing. And the guy explains that he did it for world peace, but for that one, 1882. Yeah, and it goes on, and some of them I've already repeated. Thank God they're not related. I looked that one up. Anyway, let's carry on.
In 1908, just months before the Tunguska event, renowned explorer Admiral Robert Peary set out on an expedition to the North Pole, a feat that had never before been accomplished.
Yes, when you look him up, it doesn't mention Tesla's invention at all. You'd think that would be in the headline there, but it doesn't mention it at all. But we'll have a quick look at Wikipedia. So he was a rear admiral. It was the North Pole. There you go. And it doesn't mention anything about Tesla in here because he used supposedly navigation equipment from Tesla. as well as this whole lightning thing was going to happen, causing whatever went wrong. But it doesn't mention Tesla at all.
Despite the numerous challenges, Admiral Peary was determined to reach the North Pole and make history. But he would need a new technology to help him navigate the desolate region. This is where Nikola Tesla came in. In 1904, Tesla developed a new type of radio receiver that could detect signals from the death ray. And this receiver was used by Admiral Peary during his North Pole expedition. And it was claimed that it helped him navigate through the hazardous Arctic terrain. But that was 1904.
I narrowed down the information that I took from this person because he's the only one talking about it, really. But I did come across this in 1904, and this guy, I might have taken it out of the video, is talking about ball lightning as well, and they wondered whether it was a comet. But it says here this is what he did in 1904, but we need it to link with the Tesla machine, the Tesla ray, the death ray. But we get here, and now there is a mention of this Robert Peary. And in 1908, Tesla aimed his death ray towards the Arctic and turned it on. So there you go. There is mention of it there. But it's a really weird way how you have to do it. You don't find it, and then you do find it. Well, was the Tunguska event caused by a black hole? Well, I'm not looking at that one because it's not. It is strange that it happened and it came out in Russia. But there it says in the 1920s to the 1930s, see? So why would Wikipedia have it then when it actually says it was happening here? Yeah. Should we look at this one? Because it's got the inventors 1899. Let's have a look at that one. Oh, well, there you go. The French ship Lena blew up. Oh, I see. Electrical experts were sought to press for an explanation. Many explained. Yes, and then it goes on about that. The Tunguska event. The birth of death rays. There you go, see? But it was 1908. I don't see the link to 1908, but that's what the year was. That's crazy, isn't it? There's no year of 1908, but it does say that it is the birth of the death rays. So there you go. So why would they put it like 1920s when it was happening before?
By 1906, Tesla's chief financial backer, J.P. Morgan, was growing impatient with Tesla and the lack of financial return. If J.P. Morgan withdrew funding, Tesla's plans would be ruined. Nikola Tesla knew he needed to do something dramatic to secure his funding and secure his future. Tesla knew the world was watching Admiral Peary's expedition to the North Pole and thought this was the perfect opportunity to demonstrate the awesome power of his invention. He would fire a bolt of energy toward Ellesmere and light up the skies, creating the greatest light show the world had ever seen. Just 2 months before Tunguska, Tesla wrote this. At the time of the Tunguska blast in 1908, Peary was camped out at Ellesmere Island preparing for a final push to the pole. Tesla sent Peary a cryptic message saying the extreme cold and isolation make the Arctic the perfect location for this type of experiment. Tesla told Peary to watch the skies above the tundra for a signal. Peary asked Tesla what kind of signal he should be looking for. Tesla told him that he'll know it when he sees it. Back at Wardenclyffe Tower on the north shore of Long Island, New York.
So, when we go over to this event, it doesn't so far, well, we're going to look through it. It's not really talking about Tesla, is it? Only that this was a megatons of TN, was at least 3 to 5 megatons. This is what it was like. And then they're saying it's an asteroid. So let's have a look. Oh dear. Right. Well, thank goodness not more were hurt. Obviously, it's in a remote area. What was the asteroid? See, they want to put it as an asteroid. Got to have that, haven't you? To cover up. Why was the crater left? Why was no crater left? There you go. Well, anyway. And you think that at least it puts it there, but you think Tesla's thing then supposedly got to there. Well, it says it did, because obviously we're just putting a few up. So likely thousands of people in a radius of 1.5 thousand kilometers, 900 miles, observed it. Wow, it's quite a distance then, isn't it? Was a nuclear explosion. Could it happen again? Yes. What does Togunga mean in English? The state of being bright and radiant, the wages of... what? A general feeling or sensation that someone gets or is about something. Oh. Okay. What was the most interesting facts? Can't be any. Okay. See what scientists say. I don't know. Right. Let's look at it again. It's more now. It was 5 to 10 or something. Now it's 10 to 15. When did Tesla test the death ray? There you go. One night in 1908. He believed it could harness war to destroy incoming attacks from 300 kilometers away. Tesla put his death ray at Warden's Cliff at Long Island, and it is possible that he tested it one night in 1908. What is a tungsten weapon? Why would it be called a weapon? Oh, right, that's a tank. Well, then it just, you know, this is what happens when you look things up. Yeah, so there you go. So what do you make of that then? Yes. Anyway, thanks for watching that bit.
Once the machine was fully charged, a beam of light brighter than the sun shot out of Wardenclyffe Tower and sliced through the air. For 10 or 15 seconds, vast amounts of energy poured into the atmosphere. Then it suddenly stopped. Darkness followed. Tesla felt an intense rush of exhilaration. The machine worked. He knew his funding would be secure and he could continue his work. But Tesla's excitement would last only a few moments. He looked at the readings on his death ray machine. It worked, but it worked too well. Rather than a dazzling light show, Tesla had created a massive wave of energy, 1,000 times more powerful than an atomic bomb. This immense power caused the energy beam to overshoot its target. It didn't light up the sky above Ellesmere. It made landfall somewhere in Russia. On June 30th, 1908, a massive explosion occurred in the remote Tunguska region of Siberia, releasing an estimated 15 megatons of energy. The explosion flattened an area of over 800 square miles. No animal or plant in the blast radius survived. 80 million trees were reduced to cinders. No birds or insects had time to escape. Thousands of animals on the ground were vaporized. The scientific community still debates the cause of the Tunguska event.
He says in this video that all the animals were vaporized and everything was destroyed and vaporized. But if it was vaporized, why are we looking at tree stumps? I mean, you know, they wouldn't have been that difficult to destroy. I know they're all lying over. I know there's obviously been some kind of blast or problem, whatever it is. But if everything had vaporized, we wouldn't be seeing the tree stubs, would we? Just adding that in. I don't mean to downpoo what this person's saying, but I'm just saying.
But many people believe it was a Nikola Tesla experiment that got out of control. Even as far away as England, the sky was lit up. Newspapers were flooded with reports of night turning into day. One reporter said he was able to read a book in the middle of the night using nothing but the strange light in the sky. Eyewitnesses also report the ground shaking like an earthquake for a long time before the impact. One witness said it was powerful enough to reduce a skyscraper to rubble. And the effects were felt all over Europe as far away as the UK. The explosion happened at an altitude of 4 or 5 miles. Luckily, the impact zone happened in Siberia, one of the most remote places on Earth.
Cam is eating again. I don't know if you can hear him. Well, one of the cats is eating. I think it's Cam, but anyway. Yes, his video is 27 minutes long. The Tesla bit is a part of it. Obviously, he talks about other things because he's talking about weapons. And obviously, the Tesla ray is one of the first things that we've got in history, so that's why he's talking about it. But I'd like to say thank you very much to him for making this, because there isn't much information about what he's talking about. But there is obviously, in the end, we could find a little bit of it on the internet. You couldn't, then you could. That is crazy. So we did that, and yeah, it is quite interesting if he sort of blasts this energy off that's supposed to be more local, but actually what happens is it travels to Russia. So what's your thoughts to that? And thank you very much to this person, and thank you very much to Alan for sending me the link to this video. Now I'm subbed to his channel. Has anybody heard of this before? I was actually watching a program that was showing this. So what they're saying is that there are columns of ice which come down from the ice boulders. On the outside, I think that it is obviously the same as the iceberg, but in the middle there's fresh water. Well, it's the other way around, I can't remember which way it is now, but the fresh water and the brine water don't mix, and when you crack open one of those tubes, it's got water, running water in it. But when it hits the floor, these things supposedly freeze everything that's around them. But the water inside doesn't freeze because it's at a different temperature. So the icebergs are frozen, but the seabed isn't. The seabed is a lot warmer than the water above, which is crazy when they're talking about Antarctica. But that's what this program says. And they said there's two different types of water. Obviously the outside is frozen and it comes down. Inside is running water, but when it touches the ground, it freezes everything. So starfish, crabs, whatever's down there. And you see the starfish living there, so it can't be that cold. But these columns come down. Yeah, I wondered if anybody else had seen this before. I haven't. But I saw it the other day. I think it was a blimmin' BBC programme, but it just interested me a little bit looking. I thought, well, I'd never seen that before. And there are a few pictures of it on the internet, but I had a bit of a problem showing it on here. But anyway, ice of finger death is stunning underwater phenomenon. So it's basically saying it holds a secret. They were down there. It's captured under sea. Twisting columns of ice drive down to the seabed where colourful... I've lost that bit now. Anyway, they're just basically these spirals come down. I just wondered, and that's the video, but I couldn't get it to play. What's your thoughts? And it freezes everything in its surrounding. And it was a BBC one I watched. That probably is the video, but it just wouldn't play. It just wanted to go round and round. What's your thoughts on all that? Seeing those ice, those big long bits of ice coming down in Antarctica. Have you ever heard of that before? Hey everybody, today is a little bit different. I was having a conversation with my dear Alan, and he was talking about Preterism or something like that. Maybe it's Preterism or whatever it is. And he was just explaining it to me, and I found that it was quite interesting, so I taped it. Poor Alan, he has no idea until the end when I say, I'm filming you, that he's been filmed. But this is part of our conversation, so I just thought that you would like to hear. Obviously, Alan isn't saying that he agrees with it, just that it just came up and he looked into it a bit. Anyway, thanks very much and carry on watching. Hope you enjoy this little video by Alan.
They believe that the 1,000-year, that the second coming has already taken place. Christ has already came back at 70 AD in the destruction of Jerusalem over there. And the 1,000 years already taken place now. The Antichrist has already been, they've already played that out. That's already taken place. And they're going to do it again. I don't know, just laying in bed, and all of a sudden it came up when I was sleeping, and that's where I fell into this stuff and started studying it. Well, that they've already done it already, and they're doing it again. Because even Jesus says that some of you won't taste death and see me coming in the clouds. He was talking to those people of that generation, that he would be back then in their generation, that they'd still be alive. And so he already did. He already fulfilled that, came back. The 1,000 year already took place. That's the Tatarian Empire, the hidden history, because it worked for them the first time. They just keep playing the story over and over with a new generation. That's where all the orphan children came from the millennial reign of the 1,000 years. They're the leftovers of the millennial kingdom. Well, I don't have dates to when they're gonna bring out the fake space alien invasion, or they're gonna bring that everybody's gonna fucking see Jesus coming in the clouds. It's gonna be all holographic. That's what they're getting the skies all ready for fucking a theater screen up there, so they can play their movies and make it seem like it's coming true. The Bible's the playbook, and they're going to play Revelation out to a T, and they're going to do it over and over because it works so great. And then they'll destroy themselves again and have to start over again, because it's going to be another reset here. That Phoenix, you ever heard about that? It's something like 140 years. Every 120, 140 years, there's a recycling, what do they call it, meteorite, whatever the fuck. And that's coming up within 15, 20 years, I think. Yeah, 120, 140, something like that, they said. I thought the Phoenix was every 100 years, you know. But this is something little bit different, but still kind of still having the Phoenix in there. I don't know. I haven't gotten to all those answers yet, but you know, because that's what was on Dark Shadows. There was this lady that was the Phoenix. You know, she had to get her son, and she wanted to take him through the fire and get burnt up, so she could be rebirthed and live for another 100 years. You know, in her young body, she doesn't age, and she does it every 100 years. That was Roger's wife on Dark Shadows, the mother to that David kid, kind of one of the stars in the show, David. He was always the one talking to Sarah, the little ghost. There may be a way you can channel and talk to Mickey's ghost. I seen a little bit about that here a few days ago. They were getting in some deep talking about Aleister Crowley and how you can channel these spirits and ghosts and shit like that. Yeah, everything's already been done already, you know. There's nothing new under the sun. Everything's been played out many times already. That's where all these ancient buildings come from. They just reuse them, rebuild cities around them. The churches were for fucking healing centers, and you know, it's all about that free energy. That they must have had a pretty good 1,000-year reign of pure fucking good, no evil. Everything was healing, and they must have had they must have lived for like 1,000 years, and then something happened. That's right. That's right. There's so much we don't know. You know, all we can do is speculate. Oh, that's right. It just leads to more questions. The more you know, you find out the more you don't know. A lot of times I'll just go to bed, let the TV play, YouTube, and whatever I watch gets over, and something else comes up, and maybe that'll get over, and something else come up, and all of a sudden they'll be talking on there something that interests me, and I'll fucking wake right the fuck up. And I'll go, that's what I've been waiting for. And now I'm listening intuitively, you know. It gets to a point where, well, I don't know what to look up anymore, you know. I've seen it all. Yeah, you don't know where to go next, you know, and all of a sudden it comes up right there for you. Might take a little bit, but well, it's all leading into more understanding. To understand things better, you know, a little more understanding on it. Well, it's allegory, it's metaphoric, it's symbolism. There's exoteric teachings and there's esoteric teaching. You know, they hide the esoteric and want you to take the exoteric literally as fact history, you know. And when you find out about the esoteric meaning, you know, it's a whole different perspective of what these scriptures are saying, because it's all astrotheology and it's all about the human body and the human mind. It's all about what's that word, anonymity of the human body and mind. Everything in the Revelation happens in the mind, you know, and the rest of the book is all about the body, your chakras, you know. Actually, the Bible is all about the Hebrew governor. YHWH. That's why they give us a messed up calendar. The months and the years are all messed up. The seasons. They got us celebrating New Year's at the beginning of the winter, when we got another 2-3 months before spring, the first of the where the real true first of the year should be taking place. You know, it should be the first of the year yet. It's wait till middle March or end towards when the sun, when we get a new moon in the later part of March. There'll be a new moon. That's the beginning of spring, the new year. But then you see in different parts of the year, spring starts differently because of the sun and its migration, because the sun migrates around the circle of the earth to change the 4 seasons. You know, it makes a bigger circle pattern. Does the sun go in a straight line, or does it go in a curved? Well, how can it go straight? Then it's going to have to make a 90-degree angle or go backwards. But if we're living in a pizza where the sun has to go in a circle, just like east and west goes in a circle, they want you to keep thinking that heliocentric, infinite space, galaxies, trillions and trillions of light years away, all that nonsense. You can only go so high, and you're going to hit that dome, that glass ceiling, that molten looking glass. Right. We don't know what it is. They don't want us to find out. They're keeping us from all those questions. But now we're breaking through and we're asking those questions. You can only hide it so long. And some will start waking up. Still, there's a lot of people still sleeping. They don't want to wake up. Preterism. I think they call it Preterism because of Peterism. Peter, the first pope, and that Jesus came back in his life. But I don't. Yeah, that's just a fictional story, a Jew story. But they put it in a book and made the world believe the shit. And now they got the whole world talking about this God, this Jesus. Oh, they got the whole world talking about God. Oh, you need God in your life. What the hell's God? Show me him. There ain't no fucking God. God only exists in your mind because you've been told it. I mean, they give you a book and all the stories in it, and now they got you believing the whole damn thing. And they think you're crazy if you don't believe what's written in that book. It's like telling a little child, well, that's just your imaginary friend. You got to grow out of it. Well, you get to the adults now, and they're believing in this same fairy fantasy land, thinking they can have this personal relationship with this imaginary person because he's in a book here, in a story here. You can meet him, just talk to him, just pretend, make believe. Well, that's what I learned out. Wanted to learn what Preterism was about. And the second coming already took place. I didn't know that that they were combined into this thing. I didn't know what Preterism was, but I did have some knowledge on that. Yeah, that Jesus already came back in the 1,000 years already fucking took place. I've known this for quite a while. That's according to the story, how the story goes in the book. Jesus said he'd be back in this generation, and he's talking about those people that he was talking to, not the readers of the book, because there was no book. Nobody of the Bible had a Bible. They never had the New Testament, or